Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning all. Welcome to TalkVisual305. We're coming to you from downtown Homestead with my guy, Mr. Julio.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, sir?
We got a special guest in the building, a very good friend, an inspiration to this community, a humanitarian, a great guy. You can call him Mr. Wonderful. This guy is one of the hardest working people I have met. We've got not only real estate professional and Homestead Councilman, Mr. Larry Roth.
So welcome, sir. Thank you to our podcast. We're honored to have you in our presence today. We wanted to kind of bring you on to leave some crumbs behind to see, for the next generation, to see what they can pick up from and see, hey, carry the torch, guys, because you make it look effortlessly. So tell us about how are you doing?
I'm doing great, and thanks for having me here. And I look forward to sharing some stories and hopefully motivating some people and inspiring people to just get out and do something.
Awesome. Well, we know, as we see you around town, I mean, you're in the midst of everything and all things good. It seems like you are carrying on the torch, and we wanted to kind of get to know you a little bit more and let the audience get to know you a little bit more. So, Julio, any questions you have for our esteemed guest today?
Yeah. I mean, I've known Larry for some time, and his story is inspiring. But people just see, the shiny object, the shiny diamond that Larry has become. But there is a backstory to Larry that a lot of people don't know, and it's a true testament of what it means to have the right mindset, to have grit, and to make sure you persevere no matter what life throws at you. Larry,
True.
I know you've gone through some adversity in your life, right? I know that you are doing very, very well now, not only financially, but just mentally, and you've got an excellent support group around you. So it seems like you're living the perfect life, right? Give us some stories or some examples of when things got really bad for you and you had to somehow figure out how to overcome that.
Yeah, so you say the backstory, right? So you could have a good backstory or you could have a bad backstory, right? Yeah. But you have a backstory. We all do. And as we were discussing a little bit earlier, this morning, it's never an easy ride.
Right.
And I always told my son, do what you have to do today, so you can always do what you want to do tomorrow, right?
Well
in other words, take responsibility for yourself, right? And another thing that I've always focused on, and you were asking me, how long and why did I get involved in all the community things that I do? I've been doing this for over 30 years.
Yeah.
So back when I had my restaurants, Larry's All American and the Royal Palm Grill, shortly after Hurricane Andrew, so that's how far back it goes. I partnered up with the police department. I partnered up with other organizations. We did food and toy drives. We did all those things to give back to the community. Never to understand or realize what it meant to them to receive that kind of help and support from, at that time, a 28-year-old guy who was a restaurant person, right?
Right.
So there's pain along the way, right? But you have to make those sacrifices, and there's no greater thrill than seeing somebody else prosper from your efforts of guiding them and helping them and mentoring them, right? So those are the things that I think drive me to do more of those things.
Got it.
Every single day, I think of who can I help today?
Right.
It's not about helping me, because I realized a long time ago, and I listened to many, many motivational speakers, and one of my favorite ones was Zig Ziglar.
Yes, I think he's on our list too.
He brainwashed me to believe that you help enough people get what they want, you'll always have what you want.
That's so
Amen.
true.
Well said.
That is so true. But we live in a society where it's all about me, right? Everybody wants me.
They're not leaving any crumbs.
And for some reason, and it's sad that it's almost hard for people to enjoy watching other people succeed.
Right.
And genuinely, I feel great when something good happens to someone else.
Yes.
I feel great. So it's true, Larry, when you truly help without the intent to gain, that you're saying, you know what, I'm going to help this person put food on the table for their family. I have this notion that God, he hits you back 10 times. He'll bless you 10 times over when you are honestly doing it to help that other person. Larry, organizations that you're involved in, right? Patches. I mean, all of the organizations that you're involved in are pretty significant, right? You're a city councilman, obviously that's extremely important. Patches. The Women's Club.
The only male member of the Women's Club.
We were going to get there.
I figured you were going there.
Yes.
People
Hold on,
would think, right?
no. Hold on. Let that sink in for a minute. You're part of the Women's Club.
The Women's Club of Homestead that was established way back in the early 1900s.
Right. How were you able to crack that code to get into the the Women's Club? I would like to hear that story.
So here's the example, right? You can't get no if you don't ask.
Well said.
That's right.
Someone asked
That's right.
and said, hey, come over here. We want you to be a part of our club. I'm like, what? And from the very first meeting that I had, which was a general meeting where all the members came together, I was hooked.
Right.
Fabulous women doing fabulous things for the community. At that moment in time, I was not a part of any civic organization, Kiwanis, Rotary, Sir Optimus, any of those civic organizations. So, and I'm still not, except for the Women's Club.
Yeah. Right.
And you get into some of those things where I volunteer side by side with Kiwanis.
Yeah.
I help them with their fishing tournament.
Yeah.
You know, we do a lot of good things with them. Rotary.
Yeah. We see you.
I'm out there at their seafood festival
every
all
year.
day,
Yeah.
every day.
Every day.
You're part of our staff, actually, when we're having our meetings.
You know, so,
That's right.
So, but the Women's Club, yeah, it was a little special thing. The first thing they had me do was start changing light bulbs.
Right.
So they figured they got a man around, we're going to do some work.
I thought it was genius.
Yes.
When it happened, when I first saw, and I said, "Wow, that's strange." But I'm a big believer that women do a lot of things great,
right?
And they think slightly different than we think, but it's always great to have a group of dedicated women because it helps your creativity just start to flow for how you want to do great things in your city. So I commend you for being.
we both do.
The funny thing about it is you're the only man in the room.
Right.
And a lot of them come to me for guidance, and they say, you keep us calm in the room.
Right.
Because no offense to any women out there, but you get a bunch of women in a room.
Right.
And you have some
tension.
some problems sometimes. And it worked out very nicely for all of them. I mean, I've been with the Women's Club since 2017.
Wow.
So almost 9 years, 8 years, something like that?
Yeah.
Been on their board, been their vice president. I took a break from them. I'm still there, but I'm not on their board at this time. This is the first year in probably 6 years that I haven't been on their actual board.
That kind of reminds me of Victoria's Secret. They say, and this is only, hearsay, that Victoria's Secret is Victor, he's a man.
Interesting.
I haven't done a deep dive in it, but from what I've heard, that's the whole thing about Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret.
Is that you saying?
Victoria's Secret was he was a guy, right?
Right.
Is that you saying you want to be part of the club of Victoria's Secret?
Yeah, that's right.
You're welcome to become a member of the Women's Club. So, but me stepping down, and you talk about support groups and things like that. So my significant other, Lisa, she took over the Women's Club as the president this year.
Right.
So.
Congrats there.
Big shout to Elisa, man.
Yeah, she's you say support group, she does so much more than I probably can ever do.
Right.
She supports everything that I do. I'm out front and talking to everybody and doing all these things and organizing, and she's really the backbone of what I'm capable of doing. Without her,
well said.
Without your best sides, we're not capable of doing the things.
1,000% there. So what else you have to add, Julio?
I wanted to ask you, given the fact that Larry is also in the real estate space, and I know he loves Homestead. We've spoken about Homestead. He's been a Homestead guy, like you said, over 30 years. Larry, obviously we've got a situation here in downtown Homestead, right? And we're looking for ways to attract and to bring people to this beautiful, historic, landscape that we've got here. We go to other cities and you see very similar facades,
right?
But you see a lot of walkability and you see a lot of community engagement. Right. And we're trying to figure out if there are some ideas or vision. What kind of vision have you thought of for this downtown? Because Homestead's growing pretty rapidly.
growing.
Yeah, it's growing,
right.
you know.
It's a monster.
But we want to keep chipping, and we want to keep trying to make it better every year for our kids and the next generation. So how do you envision Homestead, specifically the downtown, moving forward?
Yeah, so when, I've been down here a long time, mainly after Hurricane Andrew, although I was born and raised in South Dade. To watch Chrome Avenue just be ignored for so many years, right?
Yeah.
So many years. So I was first elected in 2015, and not that I had anything to do with it, but things started to happen down here in downtown Homestead, right? So I think the first component was building City Hall and bringing it to downtown Homestead, right? So that vision was started many years ago and brought to fruition by people before me, but I happened to be sitting on that seat when we actually opened up the new City Hall. So then they went into reopening the Seminole Theater, right? So the parking garage, the movie theater, to bring some life down here.
Right.
My whole thought process on revitalizing downtown was bringing life to it.
Right.
When you bring life to it, you're bringing residential component to it, right? So you got to bring bodies that are going to be walking around here that may be working in some of the stores and things like that. I think the biggest problem that Homestead has had is with administration changes, the visions fall to the wayside, right? So now we've got some momentum. The city's bought some properties downtown. We're looking at buying some other properties downtown. Whether you agree with that or not, that's another story, right? But we're making some efforts, and we've spent a lot of money as a city to try to attract and revitalize the area. And it's coming. I mean, it's a slow process. Listen, the infrastructure is not really here to support the restaurants and things that we want. I think there's monies available for entrepreneurs that want to come in here and put those spaces into life again, right? There's monies available through the CRA and other mechanisms to help with the grease traps and the infrastructure that they need to do these restaurants. So, I mean, we got to clean the area up too. I mean, you walk down the street, specific odors from time to time you smell, you hear, you feel, and the people that are walking down the street aren't the most what you really want. So those things have to be worked on as well, because before you can attract people down here, you got to give them something attractive to come to.
But you'd like to see some nice outdoor dining, some people walking, some cafes.
When I travel, that's what I go to. I look at downtown Fort Myers, right? Downtown Fort Myers, restaurants galore, right? And there's no competition, because there is competition, right? There's outdoor seating. Now this time of year is a little bit hot outside, but that's where we'd like to see it. I'd love to, I've talked about Washington Avenue, right?
Yep.
And just eminent domain, that whole block from, I think, 2nd to 4th maybe, and creating a bar pub crawl there. We need some young adult activities down here.
That'd be
we need those things. But I mean, those visions are beautiful, but it takes a lot of money to do those things, and it takes a lot of cooperation and with all the elected officials and business owners and all those things to bring that together. I mean, my dream is to do that on Washington Avenue and give a part of the City Hall Plaza and create another side of retail there where it's bar crawl and pub and eateries and things like that. But look, I mean, those take years. I mean, nothing's happened on Chrome Avenue for almost 25, 30 years. And you guys are investing in it. You investing on Chrome Avenue. You are the spokespersons now for the area to attract. Sock Posse is trying to open up. And I just looked at his sign. I'm like, bro, you can't see your sign. It blends into the scape. I mean, who gave you that advice?
A business with no sign is a sign of no business, right?
Yeah, so I was like, I mean, we need to work together with everybody down here. New entrepreneurs that are coming into the area. There's many, many, many opportunities to bring attractive things to this. The city itself has stopped the non-retail, non-entertainment businesses from coming down this corridor now. So
that's good.
It's opening up to the other entertainment aspects, and people have to understand and know that there are monies and revenues available to help them do things. You've got to ask for it. Sock Posse, we gave them, I don't know, $75,000, $150,000, whatever it was, and they didn't use it. And they still didn't open. Are they? I don't think they're open yet, are they? I mean, 2 years later. So, sometimes people will look at the city and say, hey, you guys are slowing progress down.
Right.
And the reality of it is, we want you to
Right.
get here as quickly as you can and get opened.
So for those who are out there listening in, I mean, this is a great opportunity. Now you know that there are some things that the city has to help promote. You know, I mean, as far as franchises as well and alike, and there's mom and pops. I don't want to lose out, nor does I assume Avante, on whatever tips and tricks that are out there that we can all tap into in the right way. When I planted my seed down here about almost 6 years now. 6 years ago, and I noticed, what are you doing? Everybody else who may have signed a lease kind of defaulted or went away. And I'm still here fighting the good fight, trying to see the vision, because that's what I saw almost 6 years ago. And right now, it's still a pain point. I'm still trying to find support to see whether or not, hey, how do we keep ourselves with my staff at that location, you know, growing and wanting to stick around and trying to keep them, you know, from, hey, man, we need more foot traffic. How do we get more foot traffic, the movie theater? But I am of high hopes, and I see the vision, and that's why 6 years ago almost to date, I planted my seed. But I would like to see more things happen. That's why we kind of created this podcast, to see how do we bring some attraction here? How can we be a mouthpiece, putting everything else aside, to make things happen downtown Homestead, where we all live?
Yeah. No. Listen, like I said, you guys are the voice right now. It's important to stay in tune with what the city council is doing up there, because some of the things that they make, the decisions they make, affect these businesses down here. You know, and just stay in touch. And listen, as I said earlier, if you don't ask, you can't get a no, right?
That's right.
You can't get a yes.
Right.
So it's important to keep in tune, and but you need cooperation too from other business owners as well. Yeah. You got El Toro Taco, for an example, right? That's been vacant for several years,
which is right in the front
now.
of our store. We want to see that open.
They came to us. We said, we'll give you the money to fix whatever you need to fix. Just get back open.
Right.
And this just never happened.
Wow.
You know, Chefs on the Run, a great business on right on the corner from where they were, and you know, I'd love to see him expand his business because he's got very limited seating, but he's got a fabulous product, and he believes he believes so much in downtown Homestead, right? He's invested as well.
You should move into our plaza, man. We need space. We need that filled up. Maybe something could be worked out there. Damn it, bring him over there. He'll be prominently displayed. We need a restaurant on the end caps, you know. So maybe that's an idea.
So Demetrius, you were the only storefront open during COVID.
Correct. Right? In the plaza there.
In the plaza. And being open as a business owner, how did you manage to survive when everybody was just stuck at home?
Well, we pivoted with masks and shields, and put on our tablets, and we walk outside to the car to create curbside.
Oh, wow.
So we did a lot of curbside. So therefore, we fought our way through that. But at the end of the day, I'm a franchise. You know, I'm an authorized retailer. So a lot of people see the name, but they don't understand behind that name, I'm a small business guy. And I'm fighting the same fight as every small business guy. I have all the same points as the same small business guy, and not to be forgotten. You know what I mean? Because it's easy to see that and says, well, it's that big name.
Let the corporate people handle that, right?
But 99% of it, none of it is handled by them.
Well, like Larry said, you know, if you don't ask, you'll never know, right? So as new administrations come in and they change, it's time to ask again and to let people feel your pressure points and your pain and say, hey, man, I was the one that kind of went through this whole thing. I was the only beacon of light when people are driving through downtown. You see the AT&T, you say, oh, something's still happening here.
There's a store there.
So we appreciate you for,
thank you.
You know,
but I'm still there fighting the good fight. I mean, we have 5 or 6 employees there, and you know, we're still kicking with fighting tooth and nail. We need some attraction there. We try our best. We do a lot of marketing. We do a lot of phone calls. We try to bring customers there. Even with the paid parking, I mean, we're still fighting through that to make sure that, hey, come there. Why come there when you can go somewhere else where you don't have to pay for parking? But downtown is downtown. I still love it. I still see the vision. I'm still there. You know, I'm still looking to renew my lease there.
We're still here.
We're still here, you know. We're open.
We're still here.
I might just add that, you know, I've known Demetrius for a long time, but I've never really used him and I have AT&T for a long time. But I called him up one day and said, I'm having this problem. So to cut to the chase, it was the best customer service I had ever received. And this is the guy who owns the store.
Yes, sir.
So he takes the time to care for his customers. And I think, I mean, if you're looking for, I mean, you can go down to the AT&T store anywhere, but if you're looking for somebody who's going to really care for you, take care of you and your family, and it's not only cell phone, it's internet, it's cable, it's all these other services AT&T offers. And I'm not doing a commercial here. I'm doing it because this guy really, really, really took good care of me, my mom, and my family when we needed to be taken care of. So you go down to him on AT&T and we'll leave the lights on for you guys.
That's right.
No, and I've got similar stories too. Similar stories of people that I've introduced Demetrius to, and they come back with raving reviews.
It's amazing.
Larry, shifting gears a little bit, being in the real estate space, right? Realtors don't have to clock in and clock out. You're your own small business too. Now, I remember there was a time when I was kind of getting into the real estate space. You were already pretty successful in this area because, you know, over at your brokerage, there's some pretty heavy hitters over there that sell a lot of real estate, right?
I would say
So you had this, people would say, if you're looking for a rental, you know, call Larry because he's got like a Rolodex. He's got a ton of rental properties that are under his management. How did you get into managing properties? Because you sold a lot of real estate before that, and you're still selling a lot of real estate.
Yeah, we're still
and
doing
now
it.
you're investing because real estate has opened up so many doors. But tell us how you weathered the ups and downs of the market.
Well, so I've been in this business probably close to like 30 years, right? Maybe 25 years. And it's been a roller coaster. Real estate is a roller coaster ride. But how I got into it was I was a restaurateur. And there was a guy that had a little real estate store right behind my restaurant. So I said, I was getting ready to have a baby, and my wife was saying, you got to sell the business. And I'm like, you know, life's about to change from there.
That was right next to Palm Plaza.
Yeah.
Palm.
The right on
Royal Palm Grill.
No. This is the one that's on US 1 where it's the pawn shop now.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I had the little strip center behind us. So anyways, I said, let me list it with this real estate guy, right?
Yeah.
So I listed it with him, and he didn't do nothing. I did the advertising in the newspaper. I showed the property.
That's it. You are the realtor.
So I got really mad. I got really mad at him.
You get all the work.
And I'm like, man, I sold this place, and you're going to get paid.
Right.
He says, well, negotiate my commission.
Oh.
I said, okay. So we
Okay.
did, right? So
Say less.
So I sold it through him, and then the guy who bought it went defunct like 90 days later.
Wow, 3 months. It's
3 months. Listen, restaurant business, you think the
tough?
restaurant business is really tough. So, but by lease, I had to take it back because I was still personally responsible for the lease.
Oh man.
So I took it back. I sold the business on my own for more than what I sold it for the first time with a realtor.
Yeah.
And originally it came the Chuck Wagon restaurant after that. So if you,
I remember Chuck
yeah,
Wagon.
Chuck Wagon.
well,
So
yeah.
and then they sold it to the so that's where real estate was born for me. So after that, I took a few months off. I went to Gold Coast School of Real Estate.
Yeah.
Took a 1-week class. Took my state test the next day, and passed it barely.
Doesn't matter. Home run is a home run.
and the rest is kind of history. So you start practicing real estate, and then all of a sudden real estate starts to crash on you. I started with the Kai's company. They were always who I was with. I left them for a few years, went to work for a developer of a mobile home park.
Yeah.
And then came back to, they changed ownership, and we didn't get along. So I went back to the Kai's company. And a couple years after being there, I think 2005, I think it was, or 6, Susan Newman, who we all know very
Really
well.
great woman too. Hi Susan.
Hi,
Yeah.
We miss you, Susan.
Came to me. I was already back at the Kai's office. And I think it was Bill Tebow, her husband,
Yeah.
came to me and said, "Hey, how would you like to, do property management?" And I'm like, "I'm broke. I got nothing else going on. What the heck?"
Let's give it a shot.
That's right.
So, they tell me we have X amount of units and all this stuff. So we had like 40 units when I actually bought the business from them.
Right.
We built it up to nearly 250 units at one point. During the crash when it was 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. We were doing a lot of work for HOAs and managing their units that they were foreclosing on because people weren't paying the bills and all those things. So, from that point, that's what it was.
Okay.
I mean, I was able to invest in properties because realtors see the best deals first, right?
Right.
And we pass up on them and we give them to somebody else or whatever we can't handle at the time. But so, and that's what happens. I mean, you start to build a business through that.
Right.
But connections always are helpful too. And we talked about being involved in clubs, the Kiwanis and the Rotary and things like that, which I never joined any of those clubs for the purposes of marketing myself, right?
Right.
And I think that's a big misconception. If you're going to go into a civil service organization as a member, you're not doing it for the purposes of building your business.
100%.
You're building it for the purposes of helping other people.
Correct.
And by helping other people, that will
Organically.
build
Right.
your business.
Business.
Zig Ziglar.
Exactly.
Zig Ziglar.
Help enough people get what they want, and you'll always have what you want. So I think the whole moral to that story is get involved, help
Right.
other people, reach out. Don't be afraid, because there's plenty of opportunities for people to get involved with these organizations. Kiwanis is great, Rotary is great, Soroptimist is great.
The MAC.
The Military Affairs Council, which
Yep.
me and Demetrius
Yep.
are a part of, those are all great civil service organizations that do great things for the community. We're always looking for new members with fresh blood, fresh ideas, and let's face it, as we get older,
Yep.
we want to pass the torch.
Right.
We can't continue to keep this pace up. People say,
Right.
how do you keep this pace up, Larry? Well, if I stop, I really stop.
Right.
So I have to keep going and going and going and going.
You should say Elisa. Elisa, I keep it up by Elisa.
Well, Elisa keeps she does that. She helps out with that too. So, but I mean, with all the programs, like the backpacks, this is back to school week for us, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So we did backpack programs, right? This year we'll probably put out, in combination with all the other organizations, 2,000 or 3,000 backpacks for people.
Wow.
We do one program that's specifically, this is for the kids, which is my 501c3 organization with the Palace Gardens, where we put seniors together with children.
Right.
That was always a dream of mine, to give seniors a purpose to help children, right?
Right.
They sit there, they do art, we sell the art, we buy tablets, we buy backpacks, we bring them all together, they all have lunch together, we do a big old thing for them.
Wow.
This year we did 50 kids. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a
you know?
lot.
So, and then the ancillary, backpacks
Right.
and programs we do,
Wow.
feeding children. We did all kinds of these programs. So, listen, if you say you can't find anything to do,
Right.
you ain't looking.
Right.
Because there's
Or
plenty.
you're too busy, because, it's clearly.
You're never too busy, right?
Right. You find the time.
One lady told me one time, man, my plate is so full, I can't put nothing else on my plate.
Well,
I
let
said-
me tell you.
I said, don't complain about your plate being full. Complain about your plate when it starts to get empty.
Right.
Right? So, because everything will start to empty out on you at that
Yes,
point.
sir.
It's so cool that you early on you thought about elderly and
Right.
kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Because a lot of, even at our age, when you don't plan for elderly care,
Right.
it just creeps up in your life.
Right.
And all of a sudden you find yourself and your siblings find themselves in this very strange place in life. And not only does it affect the siblings, but it affects their spouses. It affects everybody's family.
Right.
So I'd like to tell the audience that if you've got a parent that's getting up in age, really sit down with your family and start thinking about elderly care and setting that up, because you don't want it to hit you by surprise and then all of a sudden it turns your life upside down. And I know Larry's been through that as well.
I was going to say, we share similar experiences. I just lost my mom in January, but she lived with me for 3 years. And at some point, it just was over. It couldn't do it no more. So we ended up shifting her into an ALF. And
Right.
actually, she became so happy
Right.
that she had purpose again, right?
Yeah.
She was stuck in her bedroom. And, so don't be afraid to reach out and do those things, too, because, you may think you're doing the right thing for your parent, but sometimes you put them into a different situation and they become happier and more productive.
Right.
And she was very productive
Right.
for 3 more years. So it was great.
But ask questions. Ask questions, because you don't know anything about it until it happens to you. Then all of a sudden you become like, you're Googling everything about, is this normal? Why is she doing this? Should I put her in a home? Should I? And it just becomes a lot for you to take in because you weren't thinking about it. And it happens like this.
Right.
Like in a matter of months, you just find yourself in a completely new rhythm of life.
Yeah, it does disrupt, but we do have an obligation and a responsibility to care for our
100%.
parents and-
It's
and those
reversed,
things.
right? At a certain point, we switch it up.
It becomes reversed. It's hard to understand. It's hard to experience, and you'll never understand it till you actually go through it.
Right.
Because it is. And I miss my mom, and I miss some of those things, and I don't miss the taking care of her part. That was
Right.
pain. It was
Right.
hard, but at the end of the day, they brought us into
Yeah.
the world,
Yeah.
and we're going to make sure they go out comfortably.
100%. That's the least.
It's-
You know,
it's-
and I do it from an international perspective. My grandmother, I do the same thing for. You know, I mean, everything is taken care of for her. It's just a matter of just try to just live. You know, and try to enjoy your last days here. So as she goes through that motion, I'm walking that path now. So, but it is what it is. You know, these are the things we do. I mean, we're blessed to be able to be put in these predicament or situations, I would say, and we walk through it because we also understand. Only who feels it knows it.
Larry, what gets you up in the morning? I mean, you
I just
got
wake
your,
up, man.
your-
I don't even use an alarm clock. I just wake up.
That's it.
And
At the break of
I
dawn.
mean, you can't retire, right? You're always hunting for something.
Yeah. Listen, you know, I always tell people life is beautiful. No matter what comes your way, whatever pain, whatever tragedy comes, you have to look past that tragedy and move on. And I'll share a real quick story. It's kind of painful and it's kind of hurtful, but my son calls me up
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. Said, "Dad, I have some horrible news." I'm like, "What is it?"
What happened?
He says, "Somebody murdered my mom."
Oh man.
So I was faced with that,
Wow. Sorry to hear that.
and
Yeah,
and
sorry
trying to
about that.
understand what he was going through at that moment, and not understanding that this was my ex-wife, right?
Yeah.
Not recently, obviously,
Right.
but the tragedy that the whole family felt, right? It's heartbreaking. It's hard to understand why something like that happens.
Right.
But the other side of that is life is beautiful,
Right.
right? And there was a purpose for that to happen. And I told my son, as I always told him, you know, do what you have to do today so you can do what you want to do tomorrow.
Right.
I said, but this experience in life is going to help you help somebody else in the future.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to go through this process and help somebody.
Right.
You're going to help them get through what you're going through today. And that's the most important lesson you learn from this. The hate, the hurt, the hatefulness of,
Right.
for that person who have done that to you
Right.
cannot wear you down.
Right.
You have to rise above that and understand that it's going to be painful, hurtful now, but life teaches us lessons. So life is a beautiful thing
Right.
in tragedy.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I shared that story with you guys,
Yeah, because you got me all shook up.
Right.
but you have to go on,
Right.
right? And even in the immediate moment when everybody is together, mourning, celebrating that person's life, within a week, everybody goes away. And it's just you again
Right.
with those thoughts and those trying to understand what happened.
Right. Just
And then the
process it.
reality of trial. The person was arrested and charged. It was her ex-husband that did it,
Oh.
not this ex-husband. but now he has to go through all those things.
Right.
And as a parent, now a single parent for real,
Right.
I have to learn and grow to support him even more.
Right.
And I'm sure being in his shoes at that moment, listening to that, it's hard to take in saying, but later on in life he'll say, "Dad,
Yeah. Thank you.
you were absolutely right. Thank you so much for those words." But in the moment, tough to swallow.
Oh, that's extremely hard, and it's still hard. And you know, I love my son to death. He's out in Houston, Texas, and I wish all the best. And I'm probably
Yeah.
going to go out there and visit with him soon, just to, you know. And I told him, I said, I'm walking a little bit easier. I'm walking a little bit safer because I don't want them to take me from you either.
Right.
You know, so. But understand that life is a beautiful thing.
Right.
We all have those tragedies that come into our lives,
Right.
and we have to be stronger. We have to fight through all those emotions and pain, and just remember that it's not just about us.
Right.
It's about everybody else that you come into contact with
Right.
every single day.
Just leave it better than you mean it, right? To the best of your ability.
Absolutely.
And that's
Absolutely.
our focus too. Leave it better than
What
you
a,
mean
what,
it.
a, what an inspiration Larry
know,
Roth
right?
is, right? What an
I'll tell you,
inspiration.
man. Now you gave me chills just now.
Are there any books you can have our audience,
That's it.
any books you recommend to our audience?
I don't read books. I live life and experience. That's where I get my
He is a
experiences
book.
from.
He's a book. He's a one of those video. Those video books is live.
I read contracts.
That's it.
Right? I do a lot of reading that way.
That's it.
So, are you a classical music guy, a country music, a hip hop?
What are your
I had a
tastes of music?
career in music, right? So when I was much younger, I used to work at a place called Specs Music. I'm not sure if y'all know that.
Of course,
I
it was
remember
Specs.
Specs,
Of
eh?
course,
Specs Music.
We used to live in that place.
I was a DJ, so
Okay.
I did parties and all
Okay.
those crazy things, and I did all that stuff. And
Oh, so
I
your
look at-
music is
See that?
a variety.
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. So everything from classical to
That's
easy
it.
listening to jazz to
Right.
all the different.
That's it.
Yeah, all the different things.
Larry
I watch
is a
it go
true
from-
international there.
From 8-track tapes to CDs to
Cassettes.
cassettes to DVDs and all
Yeah.
those different things. And
So Larry listens to music different.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows how to
it.
mix it and,
That's it.
and bring it in together.
That's it.
It's cool. I didn't know that about you,
I
Larry.
still have a
Cool.
DJ set. I still have my speakers
What?
and stuff. People call me all the time. I don't
That's
DJ, but I just bring
Right.
I just bring the. Well, you'll see it at the Mac.
Of course, at the Mac
golf
golf tournament coming up in October, Larry's always there, and he puts on the music
Do
and
music,
and
MC
commentate. He's
and
the MC.
do all that stuff. So yeah.
Man.
Listen, as I said, I'm going to continue to say it. Life is beautiful, right? Don't let things get you down. Don't let things control your mood, your day, your week. Because when it controls you, it controls other people in your life too.
Well said.
Just let things happen,
right.
and expect it, but don't be reactive. Be active to it, right?
Right.
Just understand that tomorrow's another day, and today's problems won't seem so big tomorrow.
Yes.
It's just the way life is.
I tell my son all the
I
time,
didn't wanna
control
let-
what you can control.
I didn't want to
Control what's
let
in front of
Larry
you.
go because before we wrap up, I wanted to ask Larry. Technology is moving very fast. AI,
You think?
AI is really taking a hold of a lot of things and it's become part of our everyday life. And how is technology implementing itself into the city, or how is the city using technology specifically? Like, I'd love to see fiber right here. I'd love to have the option to have
Yes.
fiber right here in downtown
right.
Homestead, and Demetrius and I have been talking about how to make that happen, and we haven't. Well, Demetrius is a communication expert. He hasn't figured out how that can come to fruition.
Yeah.
Or what role I can play or help play in that fact. I mean, obviously from the sales side of the house, or just trying to connect the dots, because downtown needs to have that. I mean, we have it at there because it was a lot of pressure to get it there at where we are now. But outside of there is no. I don't see it anywhere else in downtown. Everywhere else is still using dial-up almost. So
Well, so is fiber a responsibility of the vendor or of the municipality? Because
Not
I know
quite
that
sure.
they forced fiber in my neighborhood.
Of course.
That was AT&T that
Right,
forced it
right,
through
right,
me,
right.
and then I said I didn't want it,
Right.
and they said, well, your cable's not working anymore. You have to go to fiber.
Part of
now.
the association.
They just kind of
Right.
made me go there.
That's
Like,
it.
I didn't want to go there, but they kind of made me go there.
Well, it's part of the association. If you're in a community where it's there and they have an agreement with the association, then that's different. That's clear. As far as the city and what the city allows or what the private person does, I'm not sure how that happens. All we know is that we need it downtown, and whatever path that's necessary, downtown should have the best of the best.
I think
And
it's
right
because
now
it's
we
not
don't have it.
underground. Since
Well,
you're
they
not
have two choices. They can go run it along the poles, and they can run it underground. Certain places you cannot go underground. You have to go above on the pole, on the wires.
Well, Larry knows a few people in the city.
Yeah. So I mean, and you've been talking about this for
Yeah,
several
for quite
years,
some time. I've
several
been,
years,
so
so,
that pain point.
I just don't. I'm not sure how it would work, right? I mean,
Right.
if we're going to redo downtown and
Right.
pull up the sidewalks and do all that infrastructure work, put in new sewer and drain
Right.
systems and stuff like that,
That's the time.
That's
I
the
would
time
assume.
to do it,
That's the
right?
time.
So,
or if it's not, the poles that's running through the alleyways can be put on fiber. Fiber on those
but
poles.
who would install that?
Well,
Would
I
it-
think
would it be
AT&T
a-
will. AT&T or any. I would assume if they get the agreement to do it. If they don't have the agreement, I don't know how that works.
I
But I
don't
just
either,
know we can find out. Listen, if the city wants to have fiber downtown Homestead, how does that happen? I can look into it and I can point them in the right direction if they're not being pointed. Well, we have persons that's in charge of those infrastructure thing. AT&T has a whole global thing
Sure.
of resources to that. All I need is to say, hey, look into this for me. Send me an email. I can forward that email off, and we can see if we can bring that closer together. Because there's nothing worse than you at your office and you click and you go have coffee and come back.
So the internet speed here is pretty slow.
Oh, it's horrible. It's
it really?
it's coax cable. It's 25 megs.
Demetrius, if I may, if you just go ahead and do the research, right? Just get up, because these guys, not only do they got a bunch of things going on with the city, but they got their own businesses and their own lives. So
Right.
you do all the research, cook it all up,
Right.
and make it in a real easy to understand package, and say, Councilman Roth, here you
Right.
go. And then,
Would you like
and
that
then
memo?
when you make it easy for him, he's like, thank you.
Okay.
You know?
I mean, I can revisit that because I think a few years ago I had sent an email and it started to have a conversation and things happened and just disappeared. But I can bring that back to find. I can look into who do you communicate with to try to bring fiber downtown to keep it current. If you're making all these changes, once you have businesses here and they need to connect their tools, you don't need to have satellite stuff when it rains and you have that concern. Fiber is glass now, and the speed is the same up as it is down. It's like none other right now.
So
Your technology.
outside of like the gated communities, like I live in the villages. There's
Right,
no
right.
gates there.
Right.
AT&T just comes in and they drill and they
Right.
put their stuff in. Is fiber optics available in the northwest section of the city?
Now, and Redlands now on Redland Road is getting it. Certain sections of Redland Road is now officially
So
getting
that's
it.
the vendor is
correct.
putting that in. AT&T is making the investment.
Correct, 100%. So they look at the area, they see how fast it's growing, and whatever they have on their map or whatever they have on their in their wheelhouse. I'm not a spokesperson from that side of the
Sure,
house,
sure.
so I can only voice my opinion as I guess a resident and a business owner here locally of how we can go about bringing that all together. I just know that they're doing a lot of investing down here now because the growth process here is off the chart.
Yeah.
So I think downtown now, in order for a good business person to come in, it's going to say, well, I can't bring all of my heavy equipment here because what am I going to connect it to?
Yeah. No, I get it.
All of that is great until after you sign that contract. Now, power, internet, those are the two things you want.
But this is when great minds come together,
Right.
and people in Larry's position can understand
Right.
the process because maybe he's just not in that space.
Right.
Now he goes, okay, this is the obstacle that we got to get over, because Larry has to look at it from a few different perspectives, because he's to say, well, if this happens for him, then everyone else that's in communication says, well, why
Right.
why that?
Right.
But if he looks at it from the perspective that I think you typically do is,
Right.
this is a benefit for the community.
Right.
And the community business owners have options and they get to choose. If they want, it's there. So that slowly we take small steps into becoming a smarter city,
Right.
a more efficient city, and we just keep getting better and
Keeping
better.
up. You want to keep up, right? You don't want to fall behind. And on a side note, I love that mural. I don't know who had any hands in that mural that's out in downtown. I mean, it stands out. It's a beautiful mural. So great job for whoever voted and have that done. I don't know how that works, but I just know that it looks really nice. It's a good. It's not an eyesore. It's a good plug. I would like to say thank you for everything that you have done, continue to do. You're leaving an amazing trail to follow.
Yeah.
You're a true trailblazer. I'm proud to call you my friend as well.
Wait,
So-
before we wrap up, I just want to add something. You're always welcome to come to City Hall at a council meeting. You'll get 3 minutes
Right.
to talk, right?
Right.
And I encourage anybody who is listening, will listen to this, or can tell your friends, we want to see you at City Hall, and we want to see you participate in what we do every day, because the decisions we're making affect each of you
Right.
every day.
That's right.
So
when is that happening? Is that every day? That's
it's usually the third Wednesday of the
Okay.
month, and the council meetings usually start at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
You can go online and view live.
Right.
You can actually participate live.
Wow.
They'll let you chime in
Right.
through voice chat or
Right,
whatever they
right,
call
right,
it,
right.
so that you can actually participate and comment on each item. But you have to take the time
Right.
to come and listen. We were talking a little bit earlier before I think the show started
Right.
about potentially changing some of the aesthetics on the Chrome Avenue here that are going to affect some of the businesses with some parking changes, right?
Right.
And I don't think any of the business owners know that
No.
that may be coming.
I
So
was not aware of that.
it's extremely important that you stay engaged. Fiber optics, you don't understand, I don't understand, I don't think we all understand, but we can put some people in a room to
Right.
say, hey, listen, are there incentives to bring to AT&T or a vendor, whomever it may be?
Right.
I'm not sure how that all works, but I think if they run fiber optics, others have to be able to use it as
Right.
well to
Right.
sell
Of
services
course.
through it. So, but it's them making the initial investment, right? So but we can figure that out.
Right.
to get it started and to lay fiber optics so that everybody has the highest speed
right.
possible, right? Because in today's technology, in today's world, I mean, speed is everything,
That's
right?
right.
I mean, that's what keeps us up at night, right? That's what gets us up in the morning, right? I'm looking for emails, right? I'm like, how come they haven't responded yet? Why didn't they respond yet to my email? You know, we want it today. We want it now. We want it instantly. And if there's technology out there that can help bring that here, you need to come and
Present that.
speak to us, you know, and let us know that, hey, and then staff will look into it. Then the ball starts rolling.
Right. Okay. We can definitely speak that into existence.
Larry, we thank you for your time. We appreciate. We learned a lot from the stories that you provided today. We want you to have the continued success. We appreciate your support. You'll always have our support.
Thank you.
And for those of you listening, please don't forget to like and subscribe. TalkVisual305 is going to continue to bring you the stories that are going to help you get through life because, again, success leaves
Crumbs.
crumbs. All right? Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next week.